משהו על בני אדם בעלי תכונות נדירות או על אדם אחד, אבל כוח הזיכרון של אמריקני אחד הוא נדיר במיוחד. שמו של גיבור הכתבה שלפנינו הוא בוב פטרלה. הוא אחד המעטים מקרב המין האנושי הזוכרים מה קרה להם בכל יום ויום מימי חייהם. אבל אולי חשוב מכך בעיני האמריקנים. את כוח הזיכרון הוא מיישם באחד מענפי הספורט הפופולריים ביותר בארצות הברית, כדורסל. כיצד? הנה הכתבה של לסלי סטול מן התוכנית 60 דקות של רשת CBS.
How old were you when you first created the basketball team?
I was 13. January 3rd, 1964. It was a Friday. Holland coming down, up by only 2.
You haven't heard of Holland College because it doesn't actually exist.
28 seconds left in the game.
They're an imaginary team that Bob Petrella made up.
And the crowd on its feet now.
This is our simulation of one of Holland College's games, with Bob doing the play-by-play.
Marcus Hayes did DeMar Harvey.
He's been imagining these games for 50
To
seasons,
Jefferson Clinton.
and he remembers every one of them. Who were the starting forwards in 1983?
The starting forwards in '83 were Otis Pookie and Brad Jasmine.
He can describe them. How tall were they?
Otis Pookie was 6'6", and Brad Jasmine was undersized at 6'5", but real bulky.
You can almost forget. Tell us about the years they made it to the NCAA finals.
They went to the final between 73 and 75. They won in 74. They went in 77, 78, 80. They lost.
That none of this is real.
I mean, this is really unusual. I have never heard of anything like this before. Never. You made that up, though.
Of course,
Yeah.
yeah.
Dr. James McGaugh is a leading expert on memory and cognition at the University of California, Irvine.
It's not just a series of facts that he recalls, like the memory of the names of the presidents or the alphabet. It's a whole story that he has. And the story is rich in detail because you can ask him more and more questions about each of the players.
And it's 5 people every year for 50 years.
That's right.
Plus the coach and the college president.
One could not do this without the kind of memory that Bob has.
The kind of memory he has is called HSAM, Highly Superior Autobiographical Memory.
Bob Petrella.
And Bob, along with actress Mary Lou Henner, was one of the first people ever discovered to have it. We featured them in a story a few years back.
A 7.1 earthquake hit the San Francisco-Oakland area on
October 17, 1989.
Tuesday.
People with HSAM, and there are still only 56 known cases, remember virtually every day of their lives the way we remember yesterday. What day of the week was August 29th, 2005?
Monday.
You all know that. Does it ever freak anybody out?
People misunderstand it a lot of times. They think it's photographic. They think it's autistic. You know, they call you Rain Man. And I'll just go along with it. Yeah, definitely Friday.
The mystery is they're not autistic. They lead normal lives. But Dr. McGaugh says the one thing they have in common is obsessiveness. Just look at Mary Lou Henner's closet.
I like my shoes a certain way, right foot going this way, left foot going that way, and I have the exact same hangers because then everything slides more easily.
And Bob has a few obsessions of his own. If he drops his keys on the ground, he feels compelled to wash them. But McGaugh says Bob is the only subject he knows of who has used his extraordinary memory to create a fantasy world.
I guess you could say that the fantasy basketball team is another form of obsession. But, you know, we use the word obsession as being, oh, that's terrible, this person is obsessive. Well, that's not all bad. In some sense, it's a good idea to avoid germs. In some sense, it's a good idea to have an imaginary basketball team because it doesn't cost anything and it's a lot of fun.
The fun started more than 50 years ago when Bob was in junior high and a devoted fan of his local high school football team in Beaver Falls, Pennsylvania. They had gone undefeated for 2 full seasons, so when they finally lost, Bob was devastated. His solution? Create a fictional town with its own team and run around acting out the games.
Once my neighbor was going, what is Bobby Petrella doing?
Yeah, what are you doing?
They would just see me out in the backyard, like throwing a football thing, catching it, and then I would narrate the game, and that was Tiger Town High School.
The next year, Bob gave his imaginary town, Tiger Town, an imaginary college, Holland, with a basketball team that's been playing ever since. How does it work? You have a new team every year?
Yeah, it's just like college. When they're seniors, they graduate, so we bring in new classes, which is always kind of fun for me because it's kind of like having a new kid or something.
He brings them to life as a novelist would, with personalities, backstories, and colorful names like Neil Bo Jagger, Travis Shakespeare, Lamar Mundane, and Slappy Hill, though Slappy wasn't actually his real name.
Slappy Hill's real name was Sean. He became Slappy because when he was a little kid, he would run around the room and he'd go over and he'd slap everybody's thigh and everybody started calling him Slappy.
Another favorite, 350-pound center Isaac Mosley, who played in the late 80s.
Very nice guy, very gregarious, had a real deep, booming voice. And his name was Isaac Abraham Mosley, so he's called Big Mo. And he'd walk in and go, "Big Mo is ready for the big show." You know, so it'd echo, "Big Mo is ready for the big show."
This is in your head.
Yes, his initials were IAM, so whenever someone would ask him something, say, "Isaac, how you doing?" He'd use IAM, I am, and he'd go, "I am delighted," you know.
I cannot believe how elaborate that story is. Are they all like that?
Most of them. I wanted to get this out of Act 5.
In real life, Bob is 64, a bachelor, and a freelance TV producer in LA. But unlike a TV writer or novelist, Bob doesn't write his Holland stories down. With his memory, he doesn't have to. But he does record each player's stats and has for half a century. And he continues developing life stories for each player after they graduate.
Bob is covering people from the time they get into the school and a little bit before to when they die.
Bobby Simmons, Nancy Uwe, and Mark O'Keefe are among the handful of close friends Bob has let in on his Holland College world.
And he'll send me an email and say, Travis Shakespeare died in a one-car accident on an icy road outside of Philadelphia. And it's heartbreaking. You know, it's like, oh no, like I loved this guy and he's gone.
Are you caught up with Holland College?
Deeply.
We caught up with them at a sports bar during halftime of a Steelers game, talking Holland.
Any controversy with this season at all?
No, not yet.
Okay, not yet.
New coach.
It's a new coach.
Riley Hawthorne. And it was a no-brainer that he was going to take over. Some people thought he should have been hired 5 years ago because they didn't think that McIntyre was the best.
So what happened to McIntyre? What's he doing?
He had osteoporosis and had to retire.
Oh, wow.
It's not funny. It's a serious disease.
Here's what's weird. The three of you are also into this and accepting the reality of it.
I think that goes to what a good storyteller Bob is. And he does it without a pen or without a typewriter or without a computer. He does it in his head. It's amazing.
Halumi Alobi, and his first two letters of his name was UH and HO. So whenever he would block a shot or have a great play, they'd go, uh-oh.
But how do we know, as he spins these tales, that he isn't just making it all up on the spot?
You and I could make up names for a basketball team right now, but I doubt that we would remember them 6 months from now.
So Dr. McGaw devised a Holland College memory test for Bob.
Of what year is he?
He's a junior.
Hundreds of questions about different players and seasons.
What'd you think about the '89 team?
Well, they started off real slow. They were like 8-8.
He then invited Bob back 6 months later and without warning asked the same questions again.
What happened in '89?
They were struggling. They were a 500 team. They were like 8-8.
It was seamless, and he just remembers everything about it.
Were there any questions he couldn't answer?
No.
The main players were Wally White.
And how tall was he?
He was 6 foot, but he could dunk.
Was he tall?
No, he's only 6 foot, but he could dunk.
It's hard to fathom the seemingly limitless storage capacity of Bob's brain. So what is Bob's creative process? Does he just sit down and imagine the games in his head? Not even close.
And now for your Holland College Golden Knights.
Bob acts them out,
At forward, a 6'9".
as he demonstrated for us in this real arena.
Detroit, Michigan, Dermar Harvey.
Starting with the player introductions.
Oh my God.
And the coach of the Holland College Golden Knights in his first season, Bradley Hawthorne.
Are you being the coach?
Yeah, he'll be running. And Bradley Hawthorne is not happy. Well, he shouldn't be happy. That was a bad call on him.
In case you're wondering, those last two voices were longtime announcer Bill Tronzo and color commentator Adonis McReynolds.
You're both the announcer and the player and the crowd,
Right.
and you're all the players.
Yeah, so I'm playing about 5,500 people at once.
But he doesn't actually play them here.
Wyatt Hickok at the top of the key. Wyatt Hickok.
He plays them in his living room, in real time.
Marcus.
This game is against Duke. Bob says he doesn't know who'll win until he plays the game. But either way, he'll remember the outcome forever.
Is there any madness here?
I don't think so. This is a Walter Mitty type of existence that he has created for himself, except that he knows that he has created it for himself.
You know, children fantasize, little kids. You see them talking to themselves the way he does and creating worlds.
Yes, he has his imaginary playmates, and they are all basketball players. What happens when they lose? I mean, you must be
I don't
heartbroken.
care. It depresses the Tiger Town population more than me. They don't have as much to live for. They're in a Rust Belt city. They lost a lot of population. A lot of the factories closed. So obviously that means more to them than it does to me. I have to stop myself because I start thinking of what I'm saying.
Sometimes when you tell me stories, you smile, as if you know that it's funny.
Well, I know it's funny. I smile because I'm telling this story, and then I catch myself and I go, wait a minute, that's not real.
So is Bob like a novelist who creates a whole universe, a Holland College Hogwarts? Well, there are no wizards at Holland, but there is a mascot.
Well, it's just some, like Trojan type of person. He's a knight.
Do you see it?
I don't like it.
But you do see it, though.
Yeah, I see it.
Can't you get that changed?
I'm Bob Petrella. I live in L.A. I have nothing to do with it.
I'm intrigued with how he tricks himself into thinking he's not the god of this place, that he's not in control of the events in his own story.
It's a narrative that he created, and once it's created, he can't alter it. That's set.
And that's it. Holland has beaten Duke.
It is so interesting what he can do because Bob Petrella has a life. He has a job. He gets along well.
Uh-oh.
And then he has this imaginary basketball team, and he carries that all in his head.
It's a big part of your life.
Oh, yeah. Well, it doesn't dominate my life, but it's always there.
Could you live without it?
I don't think I can anymore. And look, there it is. Morgan steals the ball. It's not hurting anybody, including me. It's a nice addiction that's safe. And then the crowd goes crazy.
וכדורסל בחינם. ועימנו ברוח הימים האלה